everyone, my name is Sarah and I am an educator at Wonders of Wildlife, and I want to welcome you to Creature Crafting. So today our project or our craft is going to be a slithering snake bracelet. So I'm going to show you what supplies you need. Make sure to ask an adult for some assistance. So the supplies that you'll be needing for your slithering snake bracelet are going to be a plate for some paint, and if you don't have paper plates, that is okay. You can ask your adult to see if you can use a dinner plate, but you'll probably have to wash it afterwards. A toilet paper roll, some paint, and paintbrush. Now if you don't have any paints, that is okay. You can use crayons or you can use markers. A Sharpie, again you can use a pen instead of a Sharpie. This little piece of red just came from a package that I had. If you don't have a little red piece, you can definitely use a piece of paper and just color in red, some tape, and some scissors. Let's get started. I'm going to take my tube and I am going to paint it. The colors that I'm going to use are going to be green and orange. So I really want to go off of some of the species found here in Missouri. There are 47 different species of snakes. And when you think of a snake, they usually don't have just one color. There's a lot of different colors on the snake itself. They use those different colors to help them blend in with their environment. So camouflage is going to be very, very important. And I'm going to say that camouflage is going to be important to my snake too. So I'm going to just use a little bit of the green and a little bit of the orange. If you go with the bright colors, it doesn't have to be a snake from Missouri. It could maybe even be a rainbow boa from South America. So my paintbrush that I'm going to use the same paintbrush for both colors. As you notice, I did not grab a cup with water because I'm going to use a dry brush. So I'm going to put my roll on the plate itself and just apply some pressure, and I'm going to get some of the green paint and just start painting up and down and all around. You can see that I don't use a whole lot of paint. We don't want it to be sopping wet. We just want to add some color to it. I want to leave some of the brown on my tube exposed because it will help it blend in with its environment even more. Once I'm done with the green, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same brush and add the orange to it. Again, dry brush. So I'm just going to go in between. If you need to pick up your tube, you can. If you need an adult to help you, make sure you ask. So I'm going to pick mine up just a little bit so I can see where I want this orange. Just going to add some more color. And once it's all dry, what we'll do is we are actually going to cut it into our slithering snake bracelet. All right, so while we let the paint dry on the tube, let's talk a little bit more about those species of snakes found in Missouri. Like I mentioned before, there are 47 different species. Out of those 47, 5 are going to be venomous snakes. As you can tell, I use the word venomous and not poisonous. Snakes are venomous. They are venomous because they have fangs. An animal that is poisonous does not have fangs. And the way you can get poison is by either ingesting it or something that is absorbed. For example, a poison dart frog is going to be poisonous and not venomous. So the 5 venomous snakes in Missouri are the copperhead, the water moccasin or cottonmouth, and then we actually have 3 species of rattlesnakes. One of them is very, very small, around 12 to 14 inches, and it's called the pygmy rattlesnake. Then we have the timber rattlesnake, and then one that is found in the Boot Hill of Missouri called the eastern Massasauga. For the snakes that are not venomous, how do they get their food? Well, those snakes are actually constrictors. So once they find their food, their prey, they actually squeeze them, and that is called constricting. Their mouths are very, very special. They can actually eat something 4 times bigger than their head. So if we were snakes, we could actually swallow a melon whole. So they unhinge their jaws and they eat their prey whole. All right, so now that our tube is actually dry, what we're going to do is we're going to start cutting. So the tube is made of cardboard, so you might need the assistance of an adult to do this. So you'll grab your scissors. If you look closely at the tube, it does have an area where it can guide you to cut. That is only to start it off, but then from there your spirals will have to be a little smaller. So I have my tube and I have my scissors. Carefully Again, starting at that guide, that's where I'm going to start to cut the tail. But then from there, I will just kind of move my scissors so we have more spirals in our bracelet. Once we get to almost the end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a round cut for the head. Okay, so it's a little bit of an angle so you guys can see that it is spiraled. And then I will just round off the head of the snake. So if I stretch it out a little bit, you can use it as a bracelet. We're not quite done yet though. So remember that little piece of paper that we had, or you can color one in. So I am just going to draw a little forked tongue. Forked tongues are important for snakes because that is how they smell. They actually use their tongue to smell. They don't use their nose. So what I did is I kind of just drew a little W on your little piece of paper, and I'm going to cut that out. And then from there, what I will do is I'm going to use a piece of tape to tape that to the end of the head. So here we go. I put it on the back side of the head itself. This can be a little tricky, so you might need another set of hands. Again, ask an adult to help you. And just tape that tongue onto your snake. Last but not least, we'll need some eyes for our snake. Remember that I have a Sharpie, but if you don't have one, you can use your crayons or you can use a pen. So, big eyes for our snake. Did you know that snakes don't have any eyelids? They just have a scale that covers their eye. So now our slithering snake bracelet is complete, and you can just play with it. And if you are maybe a little older and you want to do more art or more crafting, you can actually take your markers and design a scale pattern on your snake. If you make this creature craft at home, ask an adult to help you take a picture and share it on social media so we can see your creation.